Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a boy named Tommy. Tommy was a healthy, energetic boy, always running, jumping, and playing outside. But there was one thing that made Tommy different from all the other kids. He refused to eat anything except vegetables. While other kids loved to munch on pizzas, burgers, and ice cream, Tommy would turn his nose up at anything that wasn't green, orange, or crunchy. His favorite foods were carrots, cucumbers, broccoli, and peas. If someone offered him a piece of chocolate or a slice of cake, he'd smile and say, "No, thank you. I only eat veggies." Tommy's parents were a little concerned. They had tried everything to get him to try other foods. They even made the most delicious pancakes, baked cookies, and offered him all sorts of treats. But Tommy's answer was always the same. "I just don't like them," he'd say, pushing the plate away. One day, Tommy's mom came up with a clever idea. "What if we take Tommy on a veggie adventure?" she said to his dad. "Maybe he'll learn about the different ways veggies can be fun and exciting." Tommy's dad loved the idea. "Let's make a trip to the farm market tomorrow and let him pick out some veggies he's never tried before." The next morning, Tommy's parents took him to the local farm market. The air was fresh, and the sun was shining brightly as they walked through rows of stalls filled with colorful fruits and vegetables. "Look at all these amazing veggies," his dad said, pointing to baskets of fresh tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens. Tommy was excited. He loved looking at all the vegetables, but he was also a little curious about the ones he had never tried before. "What's that?" Tommy asked, pointing to a purple, bumpy-looking vegetable that he had never seen before. "That's an eggplant," said the farmer at the stall. "You can roast it, grill it, or make it into a delicious veggie stew." Tommy tilted his head. "I've never tried it before. Maybe I could try that." The farmer smiled. "You won't be disappointed, young man. How about some bell peppers, too? They come in lots of fun colors like red, yellow, and green." Tommy's eyes lit up. "I'll take one of each, please." They continued walking through the market, and Tommy picked out all sorts of exciting vegetables, sweet potatoes, zucchini, beets, and even a bunch of fresh herbs. By the time they were done, Tommy's basket was full of veggies he had never tasted before. That evening, Tommy's mom and dad worked together to make a veggie feast. They roasted the eggplant with olive oil and garlic, grilled the peppers with a dash of lemon juice, and even made a veggie stew with sweet potatoes and zucchini. Tommy watched them with great interest as they cooked. "Wow, Mom, that smells amazing," Tommy said, his mouth watering. When the meal was ready, Tommy sat down at the table with a big plate of the delicious veggie dishes. He took a bite of the roasted eggplant, and it was amazing. The flavors were warm and savory, with a little bit of garlic that made it extra tasty. He moved on to the grilled peppers next. They were sweet and smoky, and he could taste the lemon that made them so refreshing. "This is so good," Tommy exclaimed, reaching for more. His parents looked at each other, surprised and delighted. "I'm so glad you like it, Tommy," his mom said. "See? There's a whole world of veggie flavors out there." Tommy smiled. "I never knew veggies could taste this good. I want to try more. What's next?" His parents laughed, feeling proud of their adventurous son. They continued to cook more veggie dishes, and Tommy tried them all. He discovered the deliciousness of roasted carrots, crunchy cucumber salads, and even a sweet veggie pie made with butternut squash. The next day, Tommy invited his best friend Jake over for a play date. Jake was always eating chips and cookies, but Tommy was excited to show him what he had learned. "Want to try my new favorite veggie stew?" Tommy asked, handing Jake a bowl. Jake raised an eyebrow. "Stew? Is it good?" Tommy smiled. "Just try it. You might like it more than you think." To Tommy's surprise, Jake took a bite. His eyes widened, and then he grinned. "This is actually really tasty, Tommy. Can I have some more?" From that day on, Tommy's love for veggies grew even more. He continued to try new ones every week, discovering that there were so many different ways to enjoy them: sautéed, steamed, roasted, or even in smoothies. He shared his new favorite veggie dishes with his friends and family, and soon, even Jake started eating more veggies at home. Tommy never stopped loving his veggies, but he also learned that sometimes trying new things can lead to exciting discoveries. And who knows? Maybe next time he'd try something else, even chocolate cake. That's the end of this story. Here's another one. Samantha was a curious, adventurous girl who lived in a cozy little house on the edge of a village. She had a best friend who was always by her side, her cat, Whiskers. Whiskers wasn't just any cat. He was a clever, mischievous little creature with fluffy gray fur and bright amber eyes. Together, they shared countless adventures. Every morning, Samantha would wake up to find Whiskers perched on the windowsill, staring out at the world with an eager look. The moment she stretched and yawned, Whiskers would leap down, his tail flicking excitedly. It was their daily routine: explore, discover, and get into a little trouble. One sunny afternoon, after finishing her lunch, Samantha had an idea. "Whiskers, let's go on a new adventure today," she said, grinning. "I want to find something we've never seen before." Whiskers meowed and swished his tail, clearly on board with the idea. Samantha quickly grabbed her backpack, filled it with some snacks, and off they went to the village's forest, a place they had visited many times, but always seemed to hold a new surprise. The forest was quiet but full of life. Birds chirped, squirrels scurried between the trees, and the air smelled fresh and green. As they wandered deeper into the woods, Samantha and Whiskers discovered something they hadn't noticed before: an old, overgrown trail. It was barely visible under the thick layer of fallen leaves, but something about it called to them. "Do you think we should follow it?" Samantha asked, looking down at Whiskers, who was sniffing the air. Whiskers gave a little meow and dashed ahead, his curiosity piqued. Without hesitation, Samantha followed. The trail wound around trees and through thick bushes, leading them to a small clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a massive, gnarled tree. Its roots were twisted, creating a hollow space under the trunk. It looked ancient, like something from a fairy tale. "I've never seen this tree before," Samantha said in awe. She approached it slowly, feeling a sense of wonder wash over her. "I wonder how old it is." Whiskers, always the explorer, was already inside the hollow. Samantha crouched down, peering into the darkness. "What did you find, Whiskers?" she asked. Whiskers meowed excitedly, his little paws tapping at something on the ground. Samantha crawled in after him and gasped. There, hidden beneath the tree's roots, was a small, glittering stone. It shimmered with a soft, golden light. "Whiskers, look at this," Samantha whispered, picking up the stone carefully. It felt warm to the touch, like it had been soaking up the sunlight all day. Just then, the ground beneath them rumbled softly, and Samantha's heart skipped a beat. The tree seemed to groan, its leaves rustling as if in response to the stone. Samantha looked around, a little nervous, but also excited. Could this stone be magical? She held it up to the sunlight, and the stone began to glow brighter, casting an eerie yet beautiful light across the clearing. Whiskers sat beside her, his fur standing on end, watching the glow with wide eyes. For a moment, everything was still. Then, Samantha heard a soft, distant sound, almost like a voice calling from deep within the forest. It was gentle, like a whisper, but it sounded familiar, as though it was calling her name. "Samantha!" The voice echoed in the trees. Her pulse quickened, and she looked down at Whiskers, who was staring intently at the stone. "Did you hear that?" Samantha asked, feeling a mix of excitement and curiosity. Whiskers meowed, nudging the stone with his nose as if to say, "We need to follow it." With newfound determination, Samantha stood up and began to walk toward the sound, holding the glowing stone tightly in her hand. Whiskers followed, his paws light on the forest floor. The glow from the stone seemed to light their way, and the deeper they ventured, the clearer the sound became. It was a soft, soothing melody, like the wind singing through the trees. Finally, they arrived at a small, hidden pond surrounded by wildflowers. The water was crystal clear, and there, in the center of the pond, floated a shimmering figure, a glowing spirit of the forest. Samantha gasped. "What is this?" The spirit spoke in a soft, melodic voice. "I am the guardian of the forest, and you have found the stone of the ancient tree. You are a friend of the forest, Samantha. The stone you hold holds the magic of the earth and nature itself." The spirit spoke in a soft, melodic voice. "I am the guardian of the forest, and you have found the stone of the ancient tree. You are a friend of the forest, Samantha. The stone you hold holds the magic of the earth and nature itself." Samantha nodded solemnly, holding the stone close to her heart. I promise to protect the forest and all its creatures." The guardian smiled, its ethereal form shimmering brighter. "You and your cat have a special connection to the earth, Samantha. Cherish it, for not many are chosen." With that, the spirit faded into the mist, and the pond returned to its calm state. Samantha and Whiskers stood silently, feeling the weight of what had just happened. Samantha looked down at Whiskers, who was purring contentedly at her side. "Well, Whiskers, I think we've had an adventure to remember." They made their way back through the forest, the stone's glow now soft and gentle. As they crossed the old bridge on their way home, Samantha couldn't help but smile. She had discovered something extraordinary today, something that would forever tie her to the forest she loved so much. From that day forward, Samantha and Whiskers continued to explore the woods, knowing that the forest had secrets waiting for them to uncover. And whenever they needed guidance, the stone would be there, glowing with magic, ready to lead them on new adventures. That's the end of the story. Enjoy watching the last bit of the video. Stay tuned for more episodes, and thank you for watching.